have been a long-time gun rights supporter, and I realize you represent areas of the state where hunters are pretty verbal about their support. But how do you come to Philadelphia, which has had this year, not quite as bad as in previous years, a real problem with gun violence, particularly in communities of color? Latinos have the lowest level of gun ownership, and the leading cause of death for young Latino men is gun violence. Give me a sense of how you speak to Philadelphians, given your history.
Yeah, well, to what I should be doing, what I hope I'm doing, hope to continue to do, is to speak to the concern you raise, which is the impact of gun violence broadly, but more particularly in urban areas, and more particularly in areas where Latino young men, or young people, but a lot of young men, and African American young men lose their lives because of gun violence. The change of heart that you talked about happened really as a result of Newtown, directly and immediately almost after that, within days of that, I should say. The number of bullets you can shoot at any one time, I think that should be reduced. And then the third one is the weapon itself, the military-style assault weapon.
I have heard it said that we don't pay attention to gun items until it happens in a white community. It's not necessarily the assault weapon. It's not necessarily the magazines. We're talking a far more fundamental need for reduction of just guns.
I believe if you pass measures like those three, background checks, the magazine limitation, and the vote on the weapon itself, you can substantially reduce that violence and not in any way infringe upon Second Amendment rights, which more than 1 million Pennsylvanians are gun owners. You know that number; it's a big number. But I don't think you reduce the or adversely impact the rights of someone to go out and to hunt alone or with their family. It's a great tradition in Pennsylvania, or shortchange their rights to shoot for sporting or do other things. I think you can accommodate that right, and it's protected by the Second Amendment, and still substantially reduce the violence in our urban areas. But you're right, we're often, the most attention often goes to non-urban areas.